Join me in a deep breath. I'm Edgar Snowden, my brother Ed. You know my brother Ed. We've been Snowdenized and Maribified. And it turns out that they're going to interview Julian Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy in London, the Swedish authorities. That's good. And the Paris climate talks, they voluntarily agreed. They agreed. It's been hailed as an important agreement. They agreed to voluntarily limit emissions to emissions that'll kill us all, 3.5 degrees centigrade, if everybody does what they say. And as you know, from your VW diesel defeat devices, business as usual capitalism has a way of secret devices that upset the fair and balanced replacement referees. You wonder about Gronk too. They won again. Yeah, them, the Deflategate heroes. I think of them as democracy promotion. Do what you can to win, because it's all about winning. Here. Listen. I'm taking a deep breath, and I hope you will too, because if we're gonna penetrate the rage, if we're gonna solve the Kafka koan, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna have to do it on your own. Because even if you got I read TPP, that's Tantric Practice Partnership. Schwarze, please. Habibi, beschert. You practice intention and intuition above the call of duty and booty. Remember that. Here at Hamlin, at the Buddhist, Alzheimer's, autists, home for the hospiceless. All us 36 up in here, all us 36, we got your back. And we get it, Georgie. We get it how it is for you, but somehow it just don't satisfy. It's not enough. And when it's not enough, sometimes it's half empty, and you forget half full, and it becomes self-fulfilling. This emptiness becomes self-fulfilling, and you panic, you become desperate, and you do stupid things. You take a deep breath, you chant. Oh. And that's the best of what you do. That's the best case scenario. And the worst case scenario is a B movie on the B side. Georgie with some newbie female hitting her up in Darshan on Tai Show. Kind of makes you sad. Old men doing young men's deeds, hardly being able to get it up on their own. But never mind, who am I to say? You know, if you're constipated, it just don't work. Everything else kind of fades into the background, and you're full, but not in a good way. And it isn't good news, and you don't do what you're supposed to do. Take a deep breath. Mean well, give the benefit of the doubt, in good measure, in good faith, and be accountable for what you do and what you've done. And pay the reparations, because what we need is some truth and reconciliation and reconnaissance. And I get so pissed sometimes about how the script flips. Sometimes it seems so out of control what happens, and not in a good way. Paris, COP21, was a cop out. Voluntary, with no sanctions, no penalties, no ISDS. It certainly wasn't no TPP treaty, I can tell you that, or no TPIP. And yet it goes on. Extinction 2112, it looms. With 2020 hypno hindsight, it's a hypnopompic pomposity, it's Trump-tastic, this template, it's Tourette-ish, it's Teradata, and they're only collecting your metadata, and still the San Bernardino and that Planned Parenthood terrorist operation. Dear Robert, dear John, Johnson, Geordie Johnson and his Johnson, rape in Missoula, it's a rape culture. And Alan Dershowitz is with Jeffrey Epstein, and he's 77, and he's making the case for Israel and rape culture, republicanism. And it's a Coke Hunt 1% master narrative official story. Let me fill you in on the self-fulfilling agreements of voluntary capitalists in the highly invasive, corrupt, corrosive Citizens United capital. Right here, right now. Listen. It's a synesthetic, tantric, ahimsic, akashic, artistic presentation of a paradigm shift. And it's Schadenfreude sowing seeds on slippery slopes. And we're all sliding down the Freudian slips, and as fossil fuels. And we're in fine fettle. Filthy fettle. The Paris agreements were a filthy fettle, a greenwash of nothing much. And it ain't personal. It ain't personal, this homicide. It's happening and it benefits the 1% and their scions, scions, temporarily. Temporarily meaning the operative word is temporarily, ephemerally, superficially. It looks like the Citizens United, Heartland Institute, climate Scientology is holding sway if the pollsters are measuring the climate shifts periodically, paradoxically, paranoiacally. We wonder, is this a conspiracy climate theory? How does that go anyway? You take a deep breath. You can't make this shit up. You can't. You really can't. And it's out of control. Paris just proves it. The paradigm shift. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair. And Rumpelstiltskin, go to sleep and wake up 100 years later in Alcor cryogenics. And we're living on the Bostrom super intelligent Boston strong quilted origami multiverse. Taking a deep breath. Okie dokie, ah, delicious. I'm putting her down now. On the other side of the river, Styx. Leaf, leaf. You circle around the stupa clockwise. Here at Hamlin, at the Buddhist Alzheimer's home for the hospiceless. And you slow the mo to half speed. And you get your mojo to go. Fo, 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 ho, ho, ho. And the hubris of hegemon, the 1%, are sticking it to us 99%. And I say that sadly. Sadly. It saddens me that it don't feel fair and balanced between the 1% and the 99%. And we've passed some kind of tipping point on the Republican Rubicon. But never mind. Never mind. You can only do what you do. Give it your best shot. Shoot your wad. Oh well, it goes how it goes, and you don't really have all that much control. With 2020 hypo hindsight, you can see it coming and point it out. But what if no one's listening? What if nothing happens? What if you can only take a deep breath and wish it well. Wish it to go well. And you keep saying to yourself, if you pursue and parse paradigms and paramitas, you get the prasad, and you get a hug from Amma. And it's gate, gate, neti, neti. And it's a kind of Naledi Neanderthal nanotechnology. And the Coke Amabots, they're working it, and they're working the refs. But the physics don't change. Paris ain't gonna do it, we all know that. So we take a deep breath and move on. We move on strong, Boston strong, remember that. We move on past the Goldstone report on the Gaza massacres and the case for Israel and the protocols of the elders of Dershowitz and Zion, and Jeffrey Epstein and Madoff and Abramoff and Kissinger, who was Dr. Strangelove's model citizen, and Bostrom in superintelligence. He said the machines will think for themselves and then we're going to be in big trouble. We'll get HAL 9000 singing his song, his final Black Swan song, and the machines will stamp us out like we stamp out the ants. The super intelligent use sociality of machines that save themselves. SOS, LOL, we had it coming. You get what you deserve, what you're owed, what you should have expected. In Gaza, eyeless, you take a deep breath. So this is my gift to you and myself. Self-knowledge is a kind of double-edged sword. The good news is bad once you get it. But us 36, we got your back, 'cause we all need a tas. That's tantric, akashic, ahimsic, artistic, shamanistic, synesthetic sangha. And if you're confused, ask us. We get it. We got your back. We know the gnosis and the agnosis and the prognosis and the diagnosis. And it's a dipolar quilted universe. And there's Hawking radiation and black holes and black swan songs. And there's final solutions for extension 2112 as we re-engineer the future God help us. God help us. And the biochar and the seaweed farms is not going to be enough because we ain't taking it serious, the climate challenge. And it's starting to impact us on a daily basis. Check it out, it's warm out there. It ain't snowing like it would have been maybe 50 years ago in the middle of December. It's the middle of December, but it's warm. It's warm. If you grew up here, and if you're waiting for the 50th reunion of Woodstock and for Joe Cocker to sing with a little help from my friends, or Grace Slick to sing White Rabbit. One pill makes you taller and one pill makes you Boston strong. And Bostrom, super intelligence. You circle around the stupa clockwise, and you come back right here to Hamlin, to CCTV, and the cameras document the undocumented. It's 1491, and we're all Native Americans now. Good luck to us all. We're a ghost species. In 100 years will be a relic, like the polar bears and the bipolar. You take a deep breath. You wonder, can we save ourselves as a species, as a eukaryotic semi-sapient supersentience? Do we have enough wisdom, crazy wisdom on the Creative Common right here in Cambridge? On the Creative Common, do we have enough crazy wisdom to save ourselves? SOS. LOL. It's come down to a few voices in the wilderness and out of left field. Not the mainstream voices, not NPR, not the New York Times, who are all over themselves, congratulating themselves about how all this work at Paris produced this successful voluntary capitalist agreement to greenwash the future and make promises that you won't keep. And me neither. Ain't gonna hold back. I'm gonna leave the lights on, the incandescent. And I'm gonna leave the LCD screen on, the flüssige Kristall, the singles, the high def, flat screen, Bostrom, strong, super intelligence. Us 36, we see it coming. Black Elk spoke. And Crazy Horse tried to save his people, and us is 1491, and we're all Native Americans now. It's 9:10, and tomorrow's gonna be a big day. Are you ready, Rosa? Are you ready for what's just about to come? 'Cause we're at the tipping point on the Rubicon, and the Republicans are gonna win, maybe or maybe not. Don't really matter. Do it. Eureka! We found it. The truth is hard. It's a hard truth. Extinction 2112 is a hard truth. But let me tell you, my bro, Eddie, I am my brother's keeper. We all are. Gaia has gone global. And it ain't just virtual, it ain't going viral. No, business as usual capitalism is going global and bacterial and fungally fossil fueled. And us 36, we wink, we don't bother. Oh.